Hi again, everybody, and absolute blessed and happy Sunday to you all. So here we go for this week's market wrap and review. So just looking at a couple of things that happened last week, and then just a short look at what's happening on the charts for us. Certainly things that we're keeping an eye out for, as always, for the week to come. So those of you who've been trading with me for a while have obviously just had an amazing week. It doesn't happen all the time. In fact, most of the time it doesn't happen, but when it does, we milk it, milk it, milk it. So I know that most of you have done that. Well done. And even over the weekend, I'm sure that many of you, just like me, are in open positions that are already locked into profit. So what a great week we had last week. It popped out of, well, I can't say it popped out of nowhere. There was certainly some tension building, but nevertheless, we didn't know it was going to happen for sure, because we actually never know what's going to happen for sure in the markets, and that's just the way it is. But as always, let's just jump in and have a look at a couple of the charts. Should have shared that already. So there we go. Hopefully that's popping up now on your screens. Just want to confirm that. Yep, absolutely. So before we jump into that, as always, I just want to start with Euro USD. Just a point to note here, we were looking at potential continuation in a bearish direction, and that's certainly been closed out on Friday. We've come straight back into our daily channel, and we were nowhere else on the weekly time frame before that anyway. So um, no problem with that. We haven't got any positions there at the moment in any case. So interesting to see that. Hopefully nobody got committed to any kind of short position there. I'm always telling you not to have any expectations about the market whatsoever. All right, so jumping ahead, I want to just pop down to Aussie. We've got an amazing weakness showing through the course of this week, building up and then certainly closing out on Friday with incredible weakness on the Aussie. If you look at both daily and weekly timeframes on our score sheet, the Australian dollar is showing a minus 30, which is extremely high. We very seldom get that level of weakness. But when we do, you need to already kind of be in. So we certainly are. We'll look at a couple of those. On the Aussie, we've been on daily time frame. You guys already know this. We are outside of our channel, have been now certainly for more than a week. So through the course of this last week, there was plenty of stuff happening for us, and particularly on our 4-hour strategy, there was a huge amount of money to be made. Certainly one of the more successful currency pairs to trade. But having said that, we've got to be careful about doubling up on our exposure. Risk management always, always, always comes first. And although we've got so many of our Aussie pairs popping up for us to be able to trade, just be careful that you don't overexpose yourself to an individual currency. The other theme that we've spoken about now for a couple of weeks has been the strength on the Swiss franc, and that is still very much the case. We've got a plus 30 across both weekly and daily timeframes. But although we saw it dip slightly last week, the Swiss franc is back to being the strongest currency on our daily time frame. And obviously we're always looking to trade that on the lower time frames against the weakest currencies, which again in this case are the Aussie and the Kiwi. So let's just go to Aussie Swiss. And I mean, it's just like so in your face. We even had an entry on the trend continuation strategy here. So those of you guys who are trading end of day with a continuation approach, huge trade that set up on Wednesday night. And depending on your targeting approach, you very likely would have hit your take profit there already. But of course, on the lower time frames, this basically was something we were looking at the whole week. I think we had 2 winners and a loser, small loser and 2 fat winners. So very nice currency pair to have traded. Kiwi Swiss, something a lot of people don't necessarily look to trade because it's slightly on the more exotic side amongst our 28 currency pairs. But again, you'll notice that it took slightly longer to get outside of the channel. But all the way, literally from, again, Wednesday night, we had a lovely setup. So for Thursday morning, Thursday obviously being from looking at the close of the last candle on the 29th, which was this 8 p.m. candle on the 29th, closing at midnight. Didn't give us an impulse candle there, but our first candle of the 30th did give us that impulse candle. Lovely initial reward to risk ratio with sub 30 pip stop. And yeah, if you're looking at that minimum 1.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio, certainly had that there. So those of you using ATR targeting, that was a very, very easy win. Had you looked to jump in again after that, then you would have probably entered at the close of the candle that hit the take profit. Because of our stop conditions, you would have needed to use an ATR proportional stop. Would not have stopped out, and that would have hit your take profit by now as well. So very nice little trade there. So those are the two most impulsive, or the two pairs that are showing the greatest momentum over the last few days, which is why we've got this significant score with the Swiss franc of 18 and the Aussie and Kiwi of minus 16. So really, really significant scores there. The second strongest currency after, of course, Great Britain's exit at long last after 4 years of battling for it from the European Union, showing significant strength. But then, the euro is not exactly showing weakness overall either. But the pound definitely taking the cake between the two. And again, looking to trade against the weaker currencies. So GBP, Aussie, and Kiwi, always, once again, as I mentioned before, making sure that you don't overexpose yourself. So, now obviously looking at a bullish direction, the breakout from our channel on daily, and of course, which has now happened on weekly as well. Keep an eye out for that for the coming week. But on daily, it took place on Thursday, looking at our common sense approach to a channel. Having said that, that's using our 21 day HTC channel. If you were looking at trading phase one or impulse waves,